Hello everyone, welcome back to CLATapult. Today we have with us Chitrak.
Thank you.
Firstly, congratulations
Thank
on
you
your
so
rank.
much. Thank you so much.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me here. I am Chitrak Banerjee and I scored an AIR of 179 in CLAT 2026. I have been enrolled with CLATapult since about April of last year, and yeah, it's been amazing. Also, firstly, I would like to thank the faculty of CLATapult, especially Anand sir. His classes were more like storytelling sessions rather than classes. That's how we learned assumptions, conclusions, inference. Granted, they didn't actually come in the CLAT 2026 paper. However, these are not one-trick pony concepts, right? These help you throughout your life in law school as well as in the actual field of law. I would also like to thank Omkar sir for tolerating my cool racist jokes. They're not technically racist, but more like inside banter between Uriyas and Bengalis, and he really lit up the class. He took a GK and it was absolutely amazing. I would also like to thank Suvaroop sir. His GK classes were rich and they provided a lot of quality knowledge to us. In fact, he used to take some weekly GK quizzes, and so he basically divided the class into a few groups, A, B, C, and D. And the group that got the least amount of points actually go through a shaming ritual by the group that got the lowest points, and that kind of motivated us to be up to date with our GK, to take GK much more seriously, and that did end up helping us a lot in CLAT. And finally, I would also like to thank Rajoshi sir. He's not with us unfortunately, but he was one of those people who made it feel like maths was not actually a maths class, in the sense that I actually understood what was going on. The numbers on the boards weren't just flying around, they were actually making sense. So a huge thank you to all of them, especially, and overall, of course, to the entire CLATapult faculty for helping me reach the position where I am, and hopefully helping me in the future as well.
Okay, that's great to hear from you. So, as you were mentioning that a lot of faculties helped you throughout the process. So, tell us a little bit about what made you choose CLATapult in the first place.
Right. So essentially, after I passed class 10, I didn't really know a lot about CLAT. Neither did I know about the institutions that provided CLAT tuitions either. CLATapult was mainly chosen by my mother because she was captivated by that one specific slogan, by NAG's grad students. And I mean, that's a specialty of CLATapult as well. It's not run by normal teachers. I mean, they are run by teachers, but they're also run by students that are actively currently studying in NEJs and perhaps some other NLUs. That, number one, made them more relatable. That helped us relate more to each other, especially you. So you really did understand a lot of our problems, and you gave us solutions that we could apply in a practical field, right? Not abstract and vague solutions. That did help us a lot. And of course, when you are being taught by someone not 10 or 20 years older than you, but you could consider them your peer, it really takes away the tension of the for respect, the for courtesy, right? You can be more one-on-one with the faculty rather than hiding under the fake veil of formality.
So, that's great to hear.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about you. So, as I understand that you will be writing your boards in February.
Right.
So, how did you manage to balance your preparation for CLAT with your boards and your pre-boards that we have?
Right. So this is one thing where I have to give credits to my school for. They exempted the pre-boards for me. So that really did help me focus exclusively on CLAT. However, what I must say is that now this is something that worked for me. Don't try this. I completely neglected my school studies. I won't say completely, but I definitely shifted my focus on CLAT rather than the boards. So what I would do is the only source of study I would be getting in regards to my boards and school would be going to school and from my tuitions, right? The rest of the time I completely devoted to CLAT and GK. By the rest of the time, I don't mean I buried my head in books for 8 hours straight. Perhaps you could take some time out of your routine, maybe 2-3 hours a day. So this is the routine I actually followed for my CLAT prep. Giving a mock every day, trying to give a mock every day, and perhaps reading up a bit of the newspaper, selecting a topic from the newspaper that captivated you and researching about it on Drishti IAS or Wikipedia. That's how I kind of, if you could call it, balancing.
So, you mentioned just that you took a mock every day. So, how long was this tenure for as to you took a mock every day?
Right. So it was really in recurring intervals. You carried it on for 2-3 weeks, and then and then your discipline broke. You got demotivated for a variety of reasons, and then after a week, you watched some motivational videos and you bounced right back on that. So what my takeaway from this was, it's okay to fail once or twice, but what is elementary, what's essential for you to do is rebound. Go back to it. Don't just leave it for 2-3 months, because trust me, that does have a negative impact on your CLAT prep.
Sure. Also, as you were mentioning that, of course, there are tough times in this long CLAT journey. So, what do you do, or how do you strategize coming out of these tough batches? As you understand that there will be some mocks there, your score might not be where you want it to be. So, how did you bounce back from those?
Right. So, as you mentioned, there were some CLAT mocks that went well, and there were some CLAT mocks that went absolutely horrendous. The technique I really followed for bouncing back was not really dwelling in it. Just go through my answer keys, see my OMR, see what the mistakes I made, and make a mental note as to not repeat those mistakes again. So that was pretty much it. I mean, obviously, these are tough times. You don't know what the outcome is going to be, but you just have to go on, fight on. That's about it.
That's great to hear. So again, addressing the elephant in the room, as everybody who is taking up CLAT actually wonders or actually works around, is that how do we go across the entire set of GK, that we have such a vast GK. So how do you strategize around finishing your syllabus, I would say, or rather the entire course of it?
Now, if I say this, you all are going to beat me up. But the truth is, I didn't really finish a single GK compendium. That's not something I'd advise for you. I procrastinated, I created a lot of GK backlogs, and that came back to bite me. I would not advise anybody who's serious about their CLAT preparation to be willing enough to have backlogs, right? Go finish it. However, what I will say here is that CLAT is more of an exam that tests your luck rather than your skill. Not to discredit anybody who came before me or after me, but there were a lot of people who prepared much harder than I could ever have imagined, and they got lower ranks. So we can't really control our luck, but what we can control is our skill, right? So if you are currently somebody who's suffering through backlogs, to be honest, it's there's still 1 more year left for you to give your CLAT. You shouldn't be suffering through backlogs. But if you ever do, here's what you do. 1 month before the actual CLAT exam, a lot of institutions do release a list called MIT, most important topics. Go through them, do a quick reading on them, and that does help exponentially. Wow. So MIT topics, those are very important if you do have GK backlogs.
That's a great point. I think we all should, essentially anyone taking their CLAT exam in the future should really take a note of this. So also, as you know that now we have a lot of AI in the market that really helps us, helps us with the academics as well as, prepare or, make it easier. So did you take any help of any AI, and if so, how?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mostly for GK and mostly to go about ranting about my sad sob stories. Oh AI, I got low marks, help me, motivation, blah, blah, blah. But one thing I would say it does help us is quizzes. GK topics. There was one topic I remember was Waqf. I wasn't really confident about the topic because obviously it's an alien topic from a foreign culture. So what I did was I read up upon it. I asked AI, give me 20 questions based on Waqf from GK on the basis of the CLAT patterns, and it did, and I solved those 20 questions. So that's how AI does help us, right? And you could also use it to make a timetable. You could tell it. So I'm a 17-year-old male or female, whatever. This is the school I go to. This is my hours. Formulate a routine for me that helps maximize my efficiency for my CLAT prep. These are ways you could really take ethical and effective help from AI for GK and for your personal growth.
Okay, that's great. And as you were mentioning that, of course, there are a lot of factors that are not in our control while we sit for the exam. But of course, that everybody who is preparing for CLAT wants to make the best of what the preparation, whatever preparation they take, so that they perform best in their exam on the day. So was there any specific specific activity or any specific routine did you undertake in the last few weeks leading to your CLAT that you think might have made a difference for you?
So before I answer that, I would like to address one specific issue. In this year, 70,000 people gave CLAT. I think about 72,600, something like that. The next year, the numbers will be growing even more. Perhaps 80,000 the next year, 1 lakh the years coming after it. And here's the fact. There are about 3,500 seats for UG. Even less if you're general. So here's the thing. There's a greater probability of you not making it than you actually making it. My point here is, do not consider CLAT as a means to an end, just consider it an alternative. Give CLAT once, give CLAT twice. if you really have to. I wouldn't advise taking a drop year. However, the third time, if you're not confident that you will be making CLAT, leave it. There are plenty of other opportunities. If you're not doing CLAT, the universe has something else reserved for you. Now, coming back to your question, the routine. So what I would really do, and something that helped me to calm my mind, was to listen to religious songs. Hanuman Chalisa, for example, really helped me calm my mind. It's not definitely restricted to religious songs. Listen to some calming music. Listen to some music you like to hear before mocks, before the actual CLAT exam. Whoever on the CLAT exam, go with absolute clarity. Go into the examination hall, like, if I may use that word, you're everybody's father, and that will definitely help you. Trust me. Go in with absolute confidence, and trust me, when you go into that examination hall, there'll be eyes peering at you, scrutinizing you, because here's the truth: everybody there is a competitor. You're not there to make friends, and they're definitely not there to help you out. So the moment you enter the examination hall is going to be a tense environment. You will be losing your cool if you haven't prepped for it beforehand. So go in with that attitude, with that confidence that everybody here is below me, not literally, metaphorically, right? So having this self-inbuilt confidence and ego for during that specific moment does definitely help. And to calm yourself, music does help a lot.
Okay, that's quite interesting to hear. It's quite an interesting approach, but I must say. So, coming to another aspect that is like very unique to the CLAT that you sat for is the logical reasoning section. So, what do you think was so different about this section, and also how did you tackle it in the exam hall when you saw something that's was not expected? I would say.
Right. So I wouldn't say it was unexpected. We all knew AR was coming. We just didn't know the sheer quantity of AR that would be coming. Throughout this 1.5 years, we had prepared for CLAT. We had mostly approached logic through the perspective that we would be getting CR, critical reasoning. There would be passages and we would be solving them. And that's what the sample paper indicated as well. I guess this is what the specialty of competitive exams are. It's unpredictable. That's why people sit for it. That's why people fight for it. So look, I didn't approach CLAT from a syllabus completing perspective. A lot of people said we were neglecting AR. I didn't neglect AR, and I didn't really scrutinize AR from that way. What I did was I just gave lots and lots of mocks, right? I've perhaps given more than 100 mocks, and that's how I practiced my AR. And to be honest, the CLAT paper that came, the ARs that also came with it, they were more to do with common sense and a clarity of mind rather than being specialized in AR. You didn't really need to be a wizard of AR to solve these questions. If you really had a calm mind, clarity, did not panic, I think these were questions that could be solved easily.
Okay, that's good to hear. So now that you have given your CLAT, you have got an amazing rank. So other than, of course, as you mentioned with GK, what would be that one thing you wish that you could have done differently, or you would advise others also to do it differently for higher chance of getting
so
it?
that would definitely be English language. A lot of people who give CLAT already have an innate self-confidence that I'm good in English. A lot of us have, not all, but a lot of us have been going to English medium schools, and that gives us I wouldn't say a faux confidence, but definitely an inflated ego that we are better than others. That's definitely not the case. It's not designed in a manner to test your vocabulary, to test the accents that you can put on to impress people. It's designed to see how well you can scrutinize facts. English for me went the worst. It was the worst section of all. I made 4 mistakes. So what I would advise people is do not be overconfident about sections you feel you are good at. The mistakes I made were easily avoidable. Mistakes I made could have been corrected if I did pay a bit more attention to what was being said in the passage, to what was being asked in the passage, and obviously scrutinize the options well. Now here's another hack you could call it to get correct answers in the question papers. Do scrutinize the options, because a lot of the times the correct answers are hidden in the options, and you don't really need to look at the questions or the passage even per se to get the correct options.
So yeah, just to follow up on that. Right. So as we know that in our coachings, we have always emphasized the importance of elimination of choices.
Right.
So how much did that strategy help you in your exam, or how did you go about eliminating options when you saw like question was like difficult or you're not very sure of?
So a lot of the questions in English, in legal as well, were based on elimination. So as I pointed it out, and as a lot of the CLATapult faculty had rehearsed us again and again and again. Elimination is a must. You need to know how to eliminate. And for CLAT specifically, a lot of the questions that I did get right were because of elimination. So that did help me a lot.
So, just for the last question before we end this session today, as you know, the CLAT is a long journey. So, beyond just writing an exam, what do you think? Did you learn anything beyond just attempting the exam? Was it something for you on a personal note?
Right. So you do make a lot of good friends, right? During this period where you prepare for CLAT, you make new friends. You do things that you have never done before. You party. You have relationships with special people. You chat late nights with them, and that relationship with special people also breaks. You Now, my point is, I'm not discouraging you from doing this, because along with prepping for CLAT, you also need to have a life. CLAT hota rahega. If you haven't done it this year, you'll probably do it next year, and if you haven't done it next year, you'll probably succeed in life idhar ya udhar. But you also need to have a personality. You also need to have a life. You also need to extract the fun and the joy out of this, because at the end of the day, thousands and thousands of us are giving CLAT. There's an invisible load on us, a pressure on us from a family, from our peers, from our relatives. At the end of the day, you're still doing it for yourself, and that's what you have to remember. You are doing it for yourself. If you're going to a law school, if you're going to get good placements, that's going to be for you. So whatever you do it for yourself, and remember to not take life so seriously. That's about it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your session. And thank you everyone for joining in today.